What's up, readers? Today, you will know that sometimes your characters in your stories are just like people in real life. Most of the time, you think your teacher's pretty cool, but there's parts of your teacher that probably annoy you quite a bit. And so we're going to realize that characters in our stories are oftentimes the same. All right. So, yeah, that example may not have made a lot of sense to you because I don't know how you feel about school and teaching, but what I do know is that we all come across characters in our everyday lives because we all are either reading books, watching movies, series, Netflix, blah, blah, blah. And in all of those areas, sometimes what we don't realize is the main characters we naturally sympathize with. We defend them. They're like that best friend of ours, or maybe that boyfriend or girlfriend that we will defend. They could do nothing wrong because we're tight with them. It would feel like a betrayal. It would feel disloyal on our part. But the reality is that just like people in real life, our characters in stories are complex characters, and there's often things about them that we're just not jiving with, that we don't appreciate about them. What I want you to do first, before we get into talking about Will, because let me tell you, he has some parts about him that I don't really like. First, I want you to get your sharing mind wheels greased a little bit, and I want you to share with your partners some of your favorite stories that you've ever read. Pause the video now. So, getting back to Will. Will, in our story, we see him first where he's in this field of clovers with the Allens. Well, in the beginning, we kind of thought he was a little bitter. Our perspective kind of changed. And in fact, we kind of defended him and said, well, he seems like he's being hopeful. He wants to be popular. That's the reason why he's acting this way. That's the reason why he says that I just want to leave the Allens behind. If I got a 4-leaf clover, I would wish for me to never have to spend another day with them again. What? That's awful. He just spent 6 months with the Allens, and now he's going to betray them like that? It's disloyal. We should not accept that. Why would we want our main character to act that way? But we kind of do accept it. We kind of think, oh, that's funny. But that's just us naturally wanting to defend him. I mean, the reality is, shouldn't he hope for them to come along with him? Shouldn't Will hope that the Allens could maybe be the third and fourth funniest people in the school? And that since they're that traveling band of clovers that made of the second, third, and fourth funniest kids, that they could be like together funnier than anything that the first funniest kid could ever be. But no, that's not Will. Will hopes he never has to spend another day with them again. So in that same way, I bet that those stories that you talked about earlier with your partners, I bet that the main character in there has some less likable traits as well. Right now, pause the video. Talk to your partner. That main character, did they do some things in there that you kind of go, yeah, not so sure about what they did there. That was kind of not very good on them. Share with your partners and pause the video. Okay, readers, notice how I had to look back and think about times where our character may made some choices I didn't approve of, but at the time, because I was just reading and wanting the best for the character, I just kind of went along with. Well, the same thing goes for Harry Potter. And I know I always talk about Harry Potter, but I know so much about Harry Potter, and I have examples in my brain at all times that I could use for Harry Potter. Well, quite simply, what I'll say is we all know he's likable and kind and brave and courageous, you know, maybe even compassionate. But here's the deal. When I read the fifth Harry Potter book, The Order of the Phoenix, I couldn't stand him. And I actually did realize that I couldn't stand him. He was depressed, and it made him act angry and mean towards other people. Sometimes he was even kind of violent with how he did it. And when we go on to further books there, enemies that probably should be shown mercy at times, like Draco Malfoy in the sixth Harry Potter book, didn't receive mercy from Harry. In fact, almost died because of Harry. Hopefully that's not a spoiler for you. I think that in the stories that you're reading, you're going to see similar things about your characters that you don't like. So, right now, I want you to share with your partners, are there things that you're already seeing from your books about the characters that you currently have that maybe you're not that big of a fan of? Pause the video. Okay, so here's what our assignment is today. You see this awesome drawing up here on the screen? Yes, I did that. I know, I'm an amazing artist. Well, you get to do the same. You get to recreate your little character up there in your little digital assignment. And you can either draw it by hand, you can take a picture of that then. You could also do some paint drawing. I'm not as worried about what the art looks like. That should be fun for you to draw what your character looks like. I'm more worried about seeing those traits you see on the side of that picture there. Notice the ones that I put for Harry Potter or the ones I talked about before. Those are the characters that make up complex characters, and those are all the characters that we deal with. They're complex. They have many sides to them. They're not perfect. All those things on that left, they seem really good, but we take those along with the bad. And oftentimes in stories, we just are too empathetic and we want our character to be defended and protected by us. So, when you do your reading, be keeping track of those traits that you notice and enjoy making that picture. Until I see you next time, happy reading.